Most people think love is measured by flowers, promises, or whispered words in the dark. But here's the shocking truth: a man's deepest love is revealed not by what he says, but by what his body unconsciously does in bed. And Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, warned us that the unconscious never lies. Think about it. In the most vulnerable moments, when the masks fall away, when ego defenses collapse, the body speaks a language more powerful than any declaration of love. The way he looks into your eyes, the rhythm of his breath against yours, the tenderness in his touch, these are not accidents. They are confessions of the soul. Tonight, we're diving into the hidden psychology of intimacy, the raw, unfiltered signs that prove a man isn't just attracted to you, but bonded to you on the deepest psychological and spiritual level. You'll discover how eye contact becomes a silent vow, how his body synchronizes with yours in ways science can now measure, and how even the smallest gestures after intimacy can expose what his heart is too afraid to say. By the end, you'll see love not as a mystery, but as something your soul already recognizes. In every relationship, there comes a moment when words collapse under the weight of what we truly feel. Promises fade, rehearsed lines vanish, and all that's left is the body, naked not just in form, but in truth. Carl Jung believed that intimacy was the stage where the unconscious takes command, where hidden emotions leak through every touch, every breath, every unguarded glance. This is the hidden language of intimacy. A language you cannot fake. A language that speaks louder than "I love you" ever could. In those vulnerable moments, when two bodies meet, the unconscious reveals everything the conscious mind tries to protect: devotion, fear, longing, trust. It is here, in the raw electricity of closeness, that love proves itself, or betrays itself. Modern science confirms what Jung knew long ago: during intimacy, the brain releases oxytocin, dopamine, and signals that dissolve the ego's defenses. The result? Truth. A man may hide his heart in daylight, but in bed his soul becomes visible, if you know how to read it. So how do you recognize it? What are the undeniable signs that his love runs deeper than desire? Let's begin with the first, and perhaps most revealing, signal. Sign 1. Deep eye contact, the soul's silent confession. They say the eyes never lie, and in moments of intimacy, that truth becomes undeniable. A man may control his words, disguise his tone, even choreograph his gestures. But when his gaze locks onto yours in the stillness of passion, something deeper takes over. Carl Jung called the eyes the windows of the soul, because they reveal what the conscious mind cannot hide. Think about it: prolonged eye contact in bed is not just passion. It is surrender. It is a man saying, without words, "I am here. I am yours. I am no longer hiding." In that gaze, his anima, the inner feminine within him, awakens. It draws him beyond physical desire into the sacred space of emotional union. He isn't just looking at your body. He is allowing you to see into his soul, the most unguarded part of himself. But here lies the contrast. A man who avoids your eyes may still want you, even care for you, but there is a wall, a shadow he cannot yet face. Avoidance speaks of fear, fear of being known, fear of exposure, fear of intimacy that goes beyond skin. And Jung warned us, what we avoid in ourselves controls us more than we realize. So when he meets your gaze and doesn't look away, it is not just desire, it is devotion. That silent stare is a confession louder than any "I love you." Because in that fragile moment, two souls recognize each other, stripped of masks, and love announces itself with a certainty that words could never hold. And this sacred exchange through the eyes, is only the beginning. Because love, when real, reveals itself in more than one way. Let's move to the next hidden sign. Sign 2. Prioritizing her pleasure, beyond lust into devotion. Lust takes. Love gives. It's the oldest distinction, yet in the bedroom, it becomes crystal clear. A man driven by desire alone rushes toward his own satisfaction, his focus collapsing inward. But a man in love, truly, deeply in love, shifts the entire axis of intimacy. His center of gravity is no longer himself. It is you. Carl Jung taught that love is the reconciliation of opposites, the merging of the masculine and feminine into something greater than the sum of their parts. In this sacred exchange, a man's anima, his inner feminine, awakens compassion, empathy, and the instinct to nurture. That's why, when he loves you, he studies your breath, remembers the smallest details that bring you joy, and finds more pleasure in your ecstasy than in his own release. It is no performance. It is devotion, unconscious and undeniable. Science confirms this. Studies show that men deeply bonded to their partners experience a dopamine surge not from climax alone, but from witnessing their partner's pleasure. Your joy literally becomes his reward. This is love's alchemy at work, where giving and receiving blur into one. Contrast this with the selfish lover, inattentive, hurried, detached. That is not love, it is consumption. But when he slows down, when he listens to your body like it's music only he can hear, he is saying with every touch, your happiness is inseparable from mine. And this devotion doesn't end in the heat of passion. The truest sign comes after, the way he holds you when the fire fades, when the ego is quiet, and only the heart remains. Which leads us to the next revelation. Sign 3. Post-sex affection, where defenses collapse. What happens in the afterglow often tells a truer story than what happened in the fire. The climax may end, but what lingers afterward is where a man's heart speaks loudest. Carl Jung believed that intimacy dissolves the ego, peeling back the layers we use to survive the world. In those quiet moments, when passion subsides and masks fall away, the unconscious rises to the surface. A man who loves deeply does not roll over into silence or retreat into sleep. Instead, he draws you closer. He lingers. He whispers secrets he's never shared. He rests his forehead against yours in a communion more profound than words. These aren't tactics. They're instinct. His defenses collapse, and what's left is the unpolished, unprotected truth of his affection. Science supports this sacred vulnerability. After intimacy, the body floods with oxytocin, the bonding hormone, urging closeness, tenderness, connection. A man in love cannot resist it. He strokes your hair absent-mindedly, holds your hand like it's the anchor of his world, or simply lies there in silence, letting you know without doubt, you are safe here. Contrast this with the man who turns away, who rebuilds the walls as soon as desire is satisfied. That withdrawal may not mean malice, but it does mean distance. It signals a love not yet deep enough to bear the shadow, to reveal the tender child within. When a man loves, post-sex affection is not optional, it is inevitable. His body rebels against detachment. His soul refuses to let go. And in those unguarded moments, more than passion is revealed. What you see is devotion. What you feel is truth. And what you hold is not just a lover, but a man who trusts you with his very being. Sign 4. Synchronized movements, the body's unconscious dance. There is a kind of silence in love that speaks louder than words, the silence of two bodies moving as if choreographed by something older than time itself. When a man is deeply in love, intimacy transforms into a dance his conscious mind could never plan. His breath falls into rhythm with yours. His heartbeat subtly adjusts. His hand finds your back the exact moment you need support. These are not rehearsed gestures. They are the unconscious aligning itself with you. Carl Jung described this phenomenon as participation mystique, a state where the boundaries between two individuals dissolve, and the psyche remembers its longing for unity. In this space, you are no longer two separate beings. You are one rhythm, one current, one shared pulse of life. This is not lust. Lust is jagged, hurried, self-serving. Love, by contrast, flows. It moves like water, fluid, effortless, undeniable. Modern neuroscience calls this limbic synchrony, the nervous systems of lovers quite literally syncing together. Research shows couples deeply bonded experience aligned heart rates and even synchronized brain waves. Your bodies are writing poetry in motion, translating emotion into movement, declaring, "We belong together." Contrast this with encounters where each body remains stiff, awkward, and self-conscious. Without love, the body guards itself, movements stay mechanical, the dance never begins. But when love is present, vigilance dissolves. You sigh in the same rhythm. You shift in unison without speaking. You both know, without words, where the other will be. This unconscious dance is love's purest language. It cannot be forced, it cannot be faked. And when it happens, you are witnessing something sacred, the body remembering the unity the soul has always known. Sign 5. Emotional openness, when he shares his inner child. There is a moment in intimacy that reveals more than passion ever could, the moment when a man lets you see the child he has hidden all his life. Carl Jung believed that true love awakens the shadow, the buried fears, the unspoken wounds, the fragile parts of us we spend years protecting. And when a man is truly bonded, those defenses soften. He no longer hides behind the mask of strength. Instead, he allows his vulnerability to breathe. You'll notice it in subtle ways. He may share a childhood memory that still aches. He might admit to a fear he usually buries beneath humor or silence. He may simply hold you and let the weight of his silence speak volumes. These are not calculated confessions. They are instinctive surrenders, the psyche's way of saying, "Here is who I really am. Will you still love me?" Science affirms this. Deep intimacy activates brain regions tied to trust and emotional regulation, lowering the barriers that normally keep men guarded. Oxytocin surges create a sense of safety, allowing old wounds to surface without shame. Contrast this with relationships where walls never fall. If he never risks showing the raw, imperfect self beneath his armor, then love has not yet taken root. Because real love does not fear exposure, it craves it. When a man shares his inner child, it is the clearest proof that he sees you not just as a lover, but as home. In your presence, he is safe enough to be small, tender, unguarded. And that is the kind of intimacy no mask can ever counterfeit. Sign 6. Red flags, when love isn't there. If love reveals itself through the unconscious, then the absence of love leaves traces just as clear. Carl Jung warned that what we suppress, the shadow, inevitably leaks into our behavior. And when a man is not truly in love, the shadow speaks louder than any sweet words he offers. The signs are unmistakable. He avoids your eyes in the most vulnerable moments, as if looking too deeply might expose a truth he doesn't want you to see. His touch is hurried, mechanical, focused only on his own satisfaction. The afterglow that should be filled with tenderness becomes empty silence or a cold retreat to the other side of the bed. These are not accidents. They are unconscious betrayals. Modern psychology confirms this dissonance. Studies show that men who are emotionally detached struggle to release oxytocin after intimacy, leaving them restless, distant, and unable to sustain closeness. Instead of synchronization, you feel a jarring mismatch, your breath reaching for connection while his pulls away. And perhaps the greatest red flag is his refusal to open up. He never risks vulnerability, never allows you to glimpse the fragile child within. The mask of control never cracks. What you're left with is not union, but transaction, a physical act stripped of soul. Do not dismiss these signals. Love does not hide. It does not rush to escape the moment you give yourself fully. It does not guard itself like a fortress. When love is absent, the void is felt as strongly as presence. And recognizing these red flags may be the very thing that saves you from mistaking lust for devotion, desire for destiny. Love, in its truest form, was never meant to be confined to words, gestures, or fleeting passion. Carl Jung saw it as a psychological event of the highest order, the merging of conscious and unconscious, the union of anima and animus, the alchemy that transforms attraction into something eternal. And nowhere does this truth shine more clearly than in intimacy, where the body reveals what the mind cannot. The signs are there if you choose to see them, the unwavering eye contact that surrenders pretense, the devotion that places your joy above his own, the tenderness in the afterglow when defenses crumble, the unconscious dance of synchronization, and the raw courage of revealing the inner child. Together, these are not just behaviors. They are confessions. They are the body's scripture, love written without ink or sound. But integration is the ultimate lesson. Real intimacy does not end in the bedroom. It spills into daily life. A man who gives, who lingers, who opens his soul, will carry that devotion into how he listens to you, supports you, and grows with you. That is love beyond the physical, love that becomes spiritual, love that awakens the best within both partners. So pay attention to what is whispered beneath the surface. The unconscious never lies. If you see these signs, treasure them. If you don't, dare to ask yourself what kind of love you truly deserve. Because love is not just about passion, it is about recognition. And when it's real, you will not only feel desired. You will feel seen, cherished, and profoundly safe. Love is never just spoken, it is lived, breathed, and revealed in the quietest moments. Now it's your turn. Have you seen these signs in your own relationship? Share your story in the comments, we'd love to hear your experience. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more Jung-inspired insights, and hit the bell so you never miss what comes next. Because the unconscious never lies, and neither should love.